Over the summer, I was watching the show You with one of my friends. The show follows a creepy stalker portrayed by actor Penn Badgley, a considerably attractive man. And because of his attractiveness, my friend said I'd let him stalk me. But this didn't surprise me, as I'd heard similar things prior and still have since. But why is this so normalized? People don't want to be stalked or put in danger. What they do want, or think they want, is an attractive person to take an interest in them, not limited to any degree. I then did some investigating and found a video in which an editor had inserted a considerably less attractive man in place of Badgley. The tone then lent much more towards horror and strayed away from the horror romance that Netflix calls it. What I ended up finding was an incredibly interesting social experiment in which a group of people had been split into two smaller groups. Group A shown images of more attractive people, and Group B shown images of less attractive people. Both groups were then told that a morally debatable crime, such as a mother who left her baby in a hot car, causing the baby to unfortunately pass away, had been committed by each person. Group A, being shown images of attractive people, would speak about how much grief and guilt the mother must already feel, whereas Group B would speak about how irresponsible of a mother she was. Both groups were then asked to give a prison sentencing to each person. The average Group A sentencing was 7 years, whereas the average Group B was 13. That's a 6-year difference based on appearance alone. And although these were only made-up cases with made-up people, there have been several real-life examples. For example, Ted Bundy, who only really got away with what he did for so long because he was too charming to kill people. Or the Menendez brothers, who only received sympathy recently after being portrayed by attractive actors in a Netflix documentary. And more recently than this, Luigi Mangione, whose message was initially clear and relevant, eventually became lost when the media focus started to lean more towards his appearance. But why is this the case? Well, perhaps it stems from the media we watch as children. In movies with the classic good and evil, hero and villain, princess and her savior trope, the princess and her savior will typically be portrayed by more attractive characters, whereas the villain, less so. Think The Little Mermaid's Ursula compared to Ariel. And perhaps this is even done intentionally by the filmmakers to make our first judgment of the characters, oftentimes before they even speak, one based on stereotypes. This is often commonplace in a genre of film and TV often labeled abduction as romance, in which films about abduction, or typically men with abusive or manipulative behavior, will eventually become romance films as one or both of the characters is seen as attractive. Examples of this include Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, The Terminator, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Hitman, Troy, V for Vendetta, just to name a few. This not only furthers harmful ideas about abduction and similar things, but prevails the idea that an attractive person can't actually be that bad. But what is an attractive person? Well, the woman at Disney would say it's Flynn Rider from Disney's Tangled. Rider was created in what the makers of the film referred to as the Hot Man meeting, in which all the women working on the film got together to discuss the physical attributes to assign to Flynn to make him as attractive as possible, such as hair color, eye color, facial hair or lack thereof. After much discussion, deliberation, and debate, they came up with what they would consider the epitome of the attractive man. Although personally, he's not really my type. But this just goes to show that these ideas are forced upon us from such a young age. And this idea is something that fascinates me, and is something that I think is important to bring awareness to in an attempt to eliminate bias. I believe that everyone should receive equal treatment regardless of appearance, and that attraction bias is, in my opinion, one of the most overlooked types of bias, as people are often entirely unaware of it. And this is why I'm here today, to raise awareness so you can look out for it in both wider society as well as in your daily life, and so you can catch out others, or potentially yourself, of having an attraction bias. Now, tell you who is my type. Kristoff from Disney's Frozen. Now, do I think he's absolutely gorgeous? Yes. Yes, I do. But would I let him stalk me? No. No, I would not.